There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and he was righteous, fearing God, and turning away from evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, countless livestock, and many servants. And he was the greatest man in the east. His sons would hold feasts in their houses, and they would invite their sisters to feast with them. When the days of feasting were over, Job would offer sacrifices for them all. For Job said, "Perhaps my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan, "From where do you come?" "From roaming about on the earth." The Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him on the earth, a righteous man, fearing God and turning away from evil." Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge about him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not put forth your hand on him. So Satan departed from the presence of the Lord. On the day when his sons and daughters were feasting in their older brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The Sabaeans have attacked and took your oxen and donkeys. They also slew the servants, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another came and said, "The fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another came and said, "The Chaldeans have made a raid on the camels and took them and slew the servants, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another came and said, "Your sons and your daughters were feasting in their oldest brother's house, and a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they died, and I alone have escaped to tell you." Then Job tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Through all this, Job did not sin, nor did he blame God. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" "From roaming about on the earth." "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him on the earth, a righteous man, fearing God and turning away from evil. And he still holds fast his integrity, although you incited me against him to ruin him without cause. Skin for skin, yes, all that a man has he will give for his life. However, put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face. Behold, he is in your power. Only spare his life." Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from his foot to his head. And Job took a potsherd to scrape himself while he was sitting among the ashes. Then his wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast your integrity? Curse God and die." But he said to her, "You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Shall we accept good from God and not accept adversity?" In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. Now when Job's 3 friends heard of his adversity, they came each one from his own place: Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, to sympathize with him and comfort him. When they lifted up their eyes at a distance and did not recognize him, they raised their voices and wept. Then they sat down on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights, with no one speaking a word to him, for they saw that his pain was very great. Afterward, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. And Job said, "Let the day perish on which I was born, and the night which said a boy is conceived. May that day be darkness. Let not God above care for it, nor light shine on it. Why did I not die at birth, come forth from the womb, and expire?" Then one by one, Job's friends answered. Eliphaz the Temanite said, "If one ventures a word with you, will you become impatient? But who can refrain from speaking? Is not your fear of God your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope? Call now, is there anyone who will answer you? And to which of the holy ones will you turn? Behold, how happy is the man whom God reproves. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty, for he inflicts pain and gives grief. He wounds, and his hands also heal. Behold this, we have investigated it, and so it is. Hear it, and know for yourself." Then Bildad the Shuhite said, "How long will you say these things, and the words of your mouth be a mighty wind? Does God pervert justice? Or does the Almighty pervert what is right? If your sons sinned against him, then he delivered them into the power of their transgression." Zophar the Naamathite rebuked Job. "If iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and do not let wickedness dwell in your tents. Then indeed you could lift up your face without moral defect, and you would be steadfast and not fear." Job defended himself against the accusations of his friends, and again they accosted him, saying Job must be wicked to have deserved such misfortune. Again, Job proclaimed his innocence, and again his friends rebuked him, telling him that he must have sinned, because God rules the earth with justice. In his torment, Job once again tried to reason within himself. He knew that God is just, and that his hand is sovereign. But what justice allows a righteous man to suffer? The wicked deserve to suffer. But why does evil afflict the righteous? Man is capable of great and mighty deeds, but he does not have the wisdom to fathom the ways of God. Where is this wisdom hiding? It is not to be found in the precious things of nature. It is not in the deep places of the earth. It is not in the depths of the sea. The creatures of the land cannot find it. It is hidden from the birds of the sky. Behold the fear of the Lord. That is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding. Job remembers the time before his calamity, when the lamp of God shone over his head, when the Almighty was yet with him, when he would take his seat in the city gate. The young men gave him space, the old men rose from their seats, and the princes quit their boasting. Job was a champion for the poor. He supported the orphan, and the widow received his blessings. Job was feet to the lame and eyes to the blind. He served justice to the wicked and championed the righteous. But now, the young people jeered at him. The princes and elders shunned him, and his life became like a desolate place, a tomb in the wilderness. Job then defended his integrity. He was never greedy for gold. He never took joy in the downfall of even his enemies. Job had done nothing to warrant the wrath of God. Then young Elihu spoke up. He was indignant that Job would accuse God of injustice. He commanded Job to listen to his wisdom. "Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to do wrong, for he pays a man according to his work. Do you say my righteousness is more than God's? Surely God will not listen to an empty cry, nor will the Almighty regard it. So Job opens his mouth emptily. He multiplies words without knowledge. The Almighty does not regard any who are wise of heart." Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, and said, "Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now gird up your loins like a man, and I will ask you, and you instruct me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Have you ever in your life commanded the morning and caused the dawn to know its place? Can you send forth lightnings, that they may go and say to you, 'Here we are'? Is it by your understanding that the hawk soars, stretching his wings toward the south? Will the fault finder contend with the Almighty? Let him who reproves God answer it." Then Job answered the Lord and said, "Behold, I am insignificant. What can I reply to you? I lay my hand on my mouth. Once I have spoken, and I will not answer, even twice, and I will add nothing more." Then the Lord answered Job out of the storm, and said, "Now gird up your loins like a man. I will ask you, and you instruct me. Behold now Behemoth, which I made as well as you. Behold now his strength in his loins and his power in the muscles of his belly. Can anyone capture him when he is on watch? With barbs can anyone pierce his nose? Can you draw out Leviathan with a fishhook? Can you fill his skin with harpoons or his head with fishing spears? Nothing on earth is like him, one made without fear. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that you can do all things. Therefore I have declared that which I did not understand, things too wonderful for me which I did not know. But now my eye sees you. Therefore I retract and I repent in dust and ashes. Then the Lord spoke to Job's friends. My wrath is kindled against you because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Offer up a burnt offering for yourselves, and my servant Job will pray for you, for I will accept him, so that I may not do with you according to your folly. So they went and did as the Lord told them, and the Lord accepted Job. The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends, and the Lord increased all that Job had twofold. The Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning, and he had twice the amount of livestock. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. In all the land no women were found so fair as Job's daughters, and their father gave them inheritance among their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years, and saw his sons and his grandsons 4 generations. And Job died, an old man and full of days.